Hello everyone, Waxo here with a report for the week of March 8th through the 12th. This was a bit of a mixed week with some major announcements, but all in all rather on the sleepy side of things. Really not much to say outside of that. As you can see on screen, I've been playing Dishonored recently, a game that I fell in love with way back when, and I'm playing it now again on PC. The reason why I'm actually playing it will be revealed later in the show, so without further ado, let's hop into the 8th Waxo Report. V1 Interactive, the studio behind Disintegration, the RTS FPS mix that failed to impress critics and not make very good sales numbers, has announced earlier this week that they will be shutting their doors for good. This was the developer's first and only project, having worked on it for 5 years before its 2020 release. The company made a statement on Twitter saying that, "We are sad to inform you that V1 Interactive is officially closing. We want to thank all the talented people at V1, both past and present, who helped make the last 5 years wonderful. And a heartfelt thanks to the amazing community that supported us." Honestly, since the launch of Disintegration, I would constantly see questions and comment sections on topics about the game, and no one ever really either had heard of it or took much interest in the title. On top of that was the negative critical reception and the company's decision to turn off multiplayer servers only 5 months after release, all of which seemed to be stepping stone after stepping stone to the eventual demise of Disintegration in V1. The reason why I'm covering this is because this story is so reminiscent to the recent blunders I've covered in AAA gaming, only it's without the greater privilege to work on it to make it into some form of well-tweaked, updated, and patched 2.0 version. I know Hello Games is independent and was able to pull off such a feat, but they had previous works to help further fund their years-long reconstruction of No Man's Sky. All in all, what I'm saying is that it's awful to see a studio with potential shuttering like this. On Thursday, Square Enix announced that in the coming week, they will be hosting an event called Square Enix Presents. The event will show off what the major publisher has coming soon, having already announced it will feature a new entry in the acclaimed Don't Nod series, Life is Strange. This holds huge potential for news on their more tangible upcoming releases, such as Outriders and Balan's World, the weird Sonic meets Crash meets every other old school platformer with a strange stylistic flair that seems different. The main takeaway is that, for those who are huge Square Enix fans, the expectations might want to be tempered just a bit. It's still early in the year, so I doubt that they're going to be hitting fans with major Final Fantasy XVI and Project Athia news. Maybe I'll be wrong, who knows. The event's scheduled for the 18th and will air at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. On Wednesday in Strasbourg, France, the OVH data center experienced an awful fire that raged overnight before finally being put out, and fortunately, at least from my research, resulted in nobody being injured. This is significant news here on a gaming channel because OVH was home to the EU servers of Rust, the ever so popular survival game from Facepunch Studios. The developers spoke out the day after the fire, tweeting, "We've confirmed a total loss of the affected EU servers during the OVH data center fire. We're now exploring replacing the affected servers, and that data will be unable to be restored." Alongside Facepunch Studios' EU servers, a total of 3.6 million websites also went offline, which just seems absolutely devastating. It goes without saying that this is awful, but man, this is awful. I don't even want to think about how much incredibly important data must have been just obliterated. Facepunch alone has stated that the fire for them has wiped out days worth of players' progression, which will not be able to be restored. On a grander scale, it's unimaginable just what was lost and what will never be seen again. There's still no final say on what could have started the fire, but an investigation is currently underway. By far the biggest story to come out of the week was the EU's approval of the Microsoft ZeniMax Bethesda purchase. The deal, which was struck in September at a whopping $7.5 billion US, which is nearly how much Disney paid for both Star Wars and Marvel combined. The tech brand known worldwide had to receive approval for the purchasing of the 8 companies to ensure that the move was non-monopolistic. After receiving approval, Xbox held a roundtable with Bethesda in celebration of the companies coming together under the Xbox family, how passionate each of the Bethesda studios are, and clarify what the purchase means for the future game releases, which Phil Spencer spoke on by saying that they will honor old and legacy titles, but Bethesda games will be exclusive to where Game Pass is available, which is currently only on Xbox consoles and PC. Also, during the hour-long show, it was announced that 20 Bethesda titles will come to Game Pass for console and PC, which has since happened, and that there is to be a major event to talk games this upcoming summer. Obviously, this is huge news for fans of Xbox and the Game Pass service, with gaming Twitter speculating what the purchase would mean for the future of Xbox. As for my thoughts on it all, having been a fan of Xbox for a long time and being very much in love with Game Pass, I'm definitely excited about the news and am looking forward to what's to come from the Bethesda studios. Knowing that going forward from today, every single Bethesda game outside of Deathloop and Ghostwire, due to their year-long exclusivity deals, will be available day one on Game Pass to play in its entirety is just absolutely phenomenal. Really, without this turning into a huge Xbox ad, I do suggest that if you don't have Game Pass Ultimate and can't afford it, definitely buy it, even if it's just a month trial to check out just how amazing the service is. And when you do, I cannot stress it enough, do yourself a major favor and play Dishonored from Arcane Studios. It is criminal how little I hear about Dishonored, having fallen in love with it way back in the 360 days. In yet another week of mostly ports, we see on Wednesday, the 16th, the release of Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning, the cult classic EA RPG that was remastered last year, now for the Nintendo Switch, and Samurai Showdown, the newest entry in the old-school SNK fighter for the Xbox Series consoles. Breaking out of ports, Stubbs the Zombie, a old but actually really great game from 2005 in which you play as Stubbs, who's a zombie, and terrorize humanity, is getting a remaster for Xbox One, PS4, and Switch. On the 18th, yet another port arrives in the form of Marvel's Avengers for the PS5 and Xbox Series consoles. The upgrade for the Marvel-based looter brawler from Crystal Dynamics includes 4K resolution in 60 frames, improved textures, armor destruction, and haptic feedback in PS5 controllers. The PS5 version also seems to be the only one getting a performance and visual mode, while the Xbox Series version will only have the visual mode at its launch. Another game that comes out in the upcoming week for the 16th, I wanted to actually include as Spotlight, called Mundawn, a horror game that has this really intriguing hand-drawn art style. I hadn't heard of the title until I started looking for games coming out in the upcoming week, but it caught my eye and I decided to check it out. I may have to give it a look when it does drop this Tuesday. That's all I've got for this week's Waxo Report. If you've got something to say about any of the news for the week, thoughts on the Bethesda purchase, lost progress under Rustfire, or excited for the Square Enix event, drop a comment down below and let's talk about it. Be sure to hit the like button as well as subscribe for more videos and news. This has been Waxo, and until next time, take it easy.